everyone, welcome back to our Age of Empires 4 commentary. I'm Beyond, and today I have with me Kelsier. He also has a YouTube channel, which will be linked in the description below, also his Twitch as well. And he's going to be helping me out learn from my gameplay. So as you can see on the top-hand side, I am as the English spawning into this ring solo match. So Kelsier, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm KelsierAOE. And my YouTube channel is pretty new. I mostly just stream my own gameplay, but today we're going to do something different and do something new for both of our channels. So, to start off, your opening build order is looking good so far. This is the build I would be going for with English in this matchup. So far I like what I see, but yeah, we'll...
Oh, it only goes downhill from here. Trust me. Don't worry. That's what I was trying. I do the standard build, or I do the other build that I learned from Rob the Viking, which is the 2-2-2 into the fast castle with the Abbey of Kings. I've been liking that as well. But I usually try to do this to do some early aggression, and then I either decide to go 2 TC or try to all-in push.
Yeah, so my preferred, I don't play a lot of English, but my preferred build that I go to pretty much every game is this opening here where you go 7 and then 3 with the gold villager building the house. And I like to rush feudal and put a little pressure and then get a second TC. That's not the only viable strategy, of course, but very little thing, but you know, we're gonna get picky with it, right? Because you want to hit diamond, so I just try to kill your sheep in the early game. That's all really I've seen so far.
That makes sense. Yep, I can do that.
And that way they spread, the villagers spread out a little bit, and they don't have to walk out as far. Cause see how they're walking all the way around to the outside edge of the sheep? Can actually reduce the walk time a lot just by having them on the different carcasses.
Okay, so just smack down each sheep as we go?
Yeah, and I actually use a hotkey for next food villager to make it super quick, so... For me, I put the next villager, the next food villager hotkey on an arrow key.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. All right, I'll remember to do that for sure. And then,
but yeah, so far so good. Just a pretty typical early game.
Yeah, it's always kind of tough to fill up these voids. That's why I usually just talk about absolute nonsense in all my casts until we get into the real part. How is it okay to expand to wood like this early?
Yes, and we've been about 3 seconds without a villager queued here.
I know, I ran out of food. So you have no food up top. So yeah, do I need to keep more villagers on food?
Here's the big mistake is pulling the food villagers to build your council hall. I would highly recommend using the gold villagers. So what I would do in this situation is I use the gold villagers. Place the council hall pretty forward. Not super forward, like within range of the TC, but forward because you want to build farms on the side and back of your base. But yeah, because you pulled those food villagers to build a council hall, you're idling your TC, and that hurts. So that's the first big thing I've seen. You can gather gold on the way to feudal, but that would be kind of like a whole different build order than this. If you're doing this build order, you should use the gold villagers for the age up.
Oh, perfect. Okay, that's an easy thing to do. So that's actually an easy one I can implement pretty quickly.
I'm really dumb, and I paused the replay while I was looking at that, so I'm gonna tell me what time frame you're at, and I'm just gonna skip forward a little.
I'm at 3:58. And I'll pause it here, and then we can get going again. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's all good. Those are good explanations. These are also good tips that I can easily implement, honestly. And half my audience is English mains, because that's what they voted for me to keep playing, so they'll probably help them as well.
So, 3:58 you said?
Yep.
Alright, I am at 3:58, and we can start on 3, 2, 1, go.
Perfect. Alright, started back up again.
Sweet. So, yeah, so that hurts you a lot because you're now down 3 villagers. You should only be down maybe 1 villager because of the French production speed. So to already be down 3 villagers is, yeah, it hurts. Other than that, like, just having those villagers gather the gold right now, you want to make sure that gold goes to something. Like, it's okay that you gathered it, but we'll see if you end up using that gold right away, or if it just, you know,
just kind of hangs out.
Yeah.
It'll probably hang out. I mean, that's just the reality of life. It'll probably get used eventually, but it's probably gonna hang out substantially longer than it should.
Yeah, and I gotta stop pausing.
You pause it again?
No, we're fine. We're fine.
Okay.
I was just gonna say that also because you use the food villagers for the council hall, that's why you don't have enough. Like, you should have immediately been able to produce like units pretty much right away.
Yep.
But they were delayed a good bit.
Oh, that makes sense. All right, so easy. Kill off the sheep and then use the gold villagers to build the council hall. And then after that, should I keep the villagers on gold for this type of 2TC or just normal feudal age aggression kind of build, or not put them back on gold?
You're gonna have to forgive me, man. I just put it on to 2x speed for a while. What time frame are you at?
I'm at 532.
Oh man, I'm just gonna let you catch up to me. I'm
All
at
right.
6 minutes.
Okay.
So I'll talk about some of the things I've seen while I was on 2x. You didn't move forward with these early units at all, which is okay. Against French, if you want to defend the first night, that's fine. And what time are you at now?
I'm at 5:55, so I'm trying to get up to 6 minutes. All right, I'm gonna be at 6 minutes right now.
Sweet. So it's okay to defend the first night as well, especially since your spearmen were delayed. I would probably just try to defend the first night in this situation. As far as the gold villagers, no, you should not have any villagers on gold if you're going for a 2TC play.
Got it.
If you're going for a 2TC play, I would 100% use your gold villagers to build the council hall. Don't gather any gold until after the second TC is built.
Okay.
I would also recommend placing the second TC on your gold to make it safe.
Yep, that makes sense. Also, I know I should be moving these spearmen over to that gold, but for some reason I am not doing it, and here he comes.
So, yeah, you're gonna lose a build there, and another build there. So one thing you could have done is, you should always do this against French, no matter the matchup. You want your scout to follow that first knight, so you know exactly where it is and where you need to defend.
Okay. That makes sense.
So you want to position your scout like at the front of their base, in front of the school of cavalry, and you can even attack the knight with the scout if they're not paying attention. And if you do that, you do need to be wary, right? If he turns around and fights, but that way the scout will follow it, and if you have it attacked onto the knight. So again, right here, you just really want to focus on keeping track of the knights around your base.
Yep.
With your scout, so that way you can position spears in the appropriate places.
My goodness. Oh, I almost killed one of the knights. I almost did one thing well, but not well enough. I didn't get any lasting damage.
Yeah, I mean, the spearman on the wood line is good. I like to see that. And you are starting to slowly defend all of these different spots now, so that's good. But you are 7 villagers behind, and he's only killed 2. So I believe that means you've probably had some more idle time as well.
Yep.
On the TC. So just something to be aware of. And when I look at your TC right now, you're only queuing 1 villager at a time. This is something I see. It's a very common mistake. You're like making 1 villager at a time. I'm not sure if your thought process is to save on food, maybe, but just go ahead and queue 5. It's way better to over queue them than to forget. And I've been watching the TC for about 10 or 15 seconds, and it was idle that whole time. So a big thing that would help you just immensely is to really nail down the villager production. And we can talk about, after the game, we can talk about ways to practice that and make it become a habit. Because you don't want to be playing at this level and be thinking of, like, you don't want to be reminding yourself to make villagers all the time. That takes away from your capacity to do other aspects of the game, right?
Absolutely. No, yeah, I think it's one of those things where I was focused on the micro of the knights, but the losing the villagers is far more important and queuing them up. And now I think I'm housed as well, so we're doing super well right now. There we go, unhoused.
Yeah, you did end up being housed there. So can I ask, what was your game plan?
It was to go feudal aggression, and then it threw me off when the knights did that much damage. Honestly, when I've been playing French, against French, I don't know. This guy had a lot of early knights. I'm usually either seeing like the 1 or 2 and they go for the TC behind it, or I'm usually the aggressor after I get those early ones. But for some reason, it was just throwing me off that he was just like diving into every different side. Honestly, he was just pretty good at using his knights, which I think was throwing me off.
Yeah, he's attacking from multiple sides, which can be very frustrating to deal with for sure. So just to talk about your overall game plan, um, there's no situation, like there's pretty much no situation where I play English and I'm not going to go for an early second town center.
Mm-hmm.
Just personally, and honestly, just the way the meta is right now, unfortunately, second town center is just the way to go. So yeah, I would highly recommend, even against French, even when dealing with these early knights, to go for that early town center. And when you have out the early units, the early spearmen, like it's not too hard to get the second town center because you can just defend the you're only defending the stone and the wood, right? And you won't be making farms as early, so you only have to defend those 2 spots, and the wood is within range of TC at that point in the early game. So yeah, it's not super hard to defend.
And then, so for that build to go 2 TCs, it would be after I pull the gold villagers from the council hall. When would I start to get stone? Like when should I start to collect stone?
You should make probably 3 longbows and 2 spearmen, or maybe against French you could go for 3 spearmen and 3 longbows, and then you should pretty much, like, you should go down to 4 villagers on food, and everything else should be on wood and stone.
Okay. Down to how many food villagers? Sorry.
4.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely always float too much food, as you can see right now. I'm still floating.
So, okay, so you are finally moving out with these units to put pressure on his side, which is good. You're down 13 villagers already, though, and there was only 3 villager kills, so just once again, I'll try to stop hounding on it, but the villager production is going to make a big difference for you.
Absolutely.
Getting that down. And it looks like you thought better of taking this fight.
I knew there was a lot.
It is tough to gauge whose military is better right now. If you look at the army value, though, his army value is a good bit higher because of those knights. I don't think that would have been a winning fight for you. You do want to go ahead, like, when you do decide to move out with English, you do want to move out with towers, and get that network of
castles.
Yes, can't think of the name.
That's the one good thing I'm good at those games, casting. So I actually know the names of those things.
So another thing I see here is against French, you always want to have some spears on the resources. You don't want to just group all your spears up together like this. So you're exposing villagers. As we see, you just lost a villager on the gold there.
Yep, got wrecked.
So it is important to leave a few spears behind at home when you go to move out with the army. As Ascalad has pointed out in the chat, he does have steeled arrow, so that's not bad. But you do want to go ahead and get iron undermesh instead of the other upgrade that you have, the defense, the melee defense.
Oh yeah. I think I misclicked, honestly.
Not very good.
I think I misclicked, if we're going to be 100% honest. Because I usually preach about getting that ranged armor at almost every time in my videos, so... I think I was frazzled by the amount of knights in my base all the time.
that happens to everyone.
I think I was a saltine after that first one worked, and I was just like, just let me live my life on the back end side. But
so your opponent has actually switched into playing defensive and added a second TC, and I don't know where your scout's just kind of chilling with the army, which is okay, but you do want to be getting info with that as well.
Yep.
And the same mistake as you made earlier here is you're moving out with the whole army and not leaving any spears at home, which can be really deadly against French.
It's true. I should leave a little battalion back, at least in this wood line especially.
Yeah, and you have a bunch of villagers idle on the wood line right now.
I did see that.
For a minute.
I'm highlighting it right now for all my fans to see.
So that's just something to be to be wary of. It comes with time, comes with practice. The villager deficit is so bad right now, though. I want to say this game's already over.
It is for sure. So that's why I think I moved out.
Yeah, and fighting under this tower is not going to go well. And you did move out without a tower of your own as well, which is really, really important for English.
Yep, getting that network of castles, moving out.
Yeah. Sorry guys if I'm missing chat right now. I'm a little bit focused on the video, but I'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. You do have way more army right now, so you could use that. Like your army value has moved ahead of his, so you could use that to come back into this game. But your timing is very, like, you don't have much time.
Yep.
It needs to happen soon. I think the biggest way to make that happen is just, I mean, it's really just attack. And the exposed areas are pretty limited here, so you would probably want to already have rams at this point. It is the 15-minute mark.
Yep.
Because there's nowhere on the map that's really easy for you to get to and attack, because English's army is really immobile. So yeah, if you were going for aggression here, like the rams should already be coming down, and you do have siege engineering, I think.
Yep.
You already have it. Yep. So the rams should already be coming down, but you just don't have any wood. I'm not sure what happened on your wood line. You moved all the villagers from the wood line to a new wood line.
Yeah.
What's your thought process on that when you moved?
I think I should have finished it off. I think I was just like, I think I moved them to the front hand side, a few of them, and then I think with the remaining ones I just made it easier. I just pulled them all. I should have just made another timber camp closer to that, like in the middle of that wood line over there. Oh.
Yeah, you should have just stayed on that wood line and maybe throw a wall down back there as well.
Yep.
Just to secure your base up a little bit more.
I lost my villager.
Yeah, I lost the villager building the tower, so that it stings. You can build the towers more slowly, by the way, and expand forward.
Like a little creep. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But your opponent's going castle behind this with 2 villagers, which is interesting, or 4 villagers. But it's that we're not focused on him. But the castle age tech's coming in. Like if he gets these knight upgrades and stuff before the big fight, that's going to pretty much kill the push, I would think.
Absolutely. No, this game I was exceptionally bad at, but that's why I actually wanted to do it, because I knew I'd learn the most from it, which is good. But there's a lot of things I can easily do better at, for sure, which is actually honestly good to see. So I can actually get better at my gameplay. As you can see, I'm starting to get stoned too, which I'm like, oh, I should get a second TC, but I was like, it's too late. It's too late.
Yeah, it's too late. Even at the Conqueror level, there's always things that can be fixed, just little small things that really make a big difference. So
absolutely.
You know, it's never like, to anyone out there who's thinking like, oh, I just can't get better. It's never hopeless. There's always really small, easy things you can focus on to fix.
Listen, if I can get better, anyone can get better, because I am terrible at this game. I'm just so old, you know what I mean? Like my old fingers, they just can't. They can't do it anymore. I just think about everything and then I'm just done and dusted. Here's my little ram.
It happens. Dabson pointed out something good in the chat as well, which I didn't really mention it because the game is, in my opinion, pretty far gone. Like you really need this push to end the game, and he's just killing the rams and stalling you. So, but Dabson made a good point. It's way too late to go for a second TC at this point. There's no point. Like you're so far behind. You just needed to commit to the all-in. Mm-hmm. So that TC is resources that could have been spent on the all-in. But we see the 2 mangonels come out. That's going to be the end of your army, or the end of your push.
I think when I saw that, I just pretty much was like, well, this is going to be a rough game. But I agree with Dobson on that one. I should have just went up and gotten that free TC. And I definitely agree with the other person in the chat. I need to practice a lot more for sure. I spend it all the time I do making casting videos and not actually playing the game. So I should invest more time in actually playing the game too.
Yeah, and the TC is idle during all of this, so we'll talk about it. Actually, we could probably end it here because I don't think there's too much more we're gonna learn.
Yeah.
Unless, how much longer does the game go on?
I think like
Can't see that timer.
2 minutes. Outcast.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna learn much more here. So, we can go ahead and start talking about how you can master that villager production. It's not a lot to it really, but for me, what really helped was like I hit like platinum, and before I like really had mastered the villager production, and I didn't quite understand how important it was until someone, probably like Asklot or Tim4Tim or Dabston, I don't know who, one of them was in my chat and was talking about it, and yeah, it makes a gigantic difference. Like I said, like pretty early in the game, you were behind a lot of vills without losing a lot of vills. Mm-hmm. So what you can do to practice that, and it doesn't sound super fun and it doesn't sound flashy, but it helps. It makes a big difference, I promise you. Is actually every day when you get on the game, before you load up and play a ranked game, just do 1 or 2 run-throughs of your build order to the 10-minute mark against AI, and the entire focus is to execute your build order perfectly and also not miss a single villager production.
Yep.
And I did that multiple times a day, every day for 2 or 3 weeks, and by the end of that, I pretty much had it down. And it gets to the point where it's like riding a bicycle or breathing or anything else. Like, you just always make villagers. And now I actually, like, when I get to the end game, I have to stop myself from making villagers because it's such a habit. And another thing that can really help with it is, how do you hotkey your town centers?
I currently put it on, I think I put it on 6 or 7.
Like, and is that that's the only hotkey you do to pull up your town center, or do you click on your town center manually?
I mean, sometimes I click on it, but mainly I use like 6 or 7 to get at it. But I'm always open to put it somewhere else.
Well, you don't have to change the hotkey, but what I do personally is so there's a setting. The hotkeys for use all town centers or pull up all town centers, and I put that hotkey on my mouse, on a mouse button.
Oh.
So constantly throughout the game, I'm just pulling up my town. I'm pressing that button and just constantly pressing Q, and it's just muscle memory at this point. And when you build a second TC, it's going to open that one as well, and you'll queue from both of them at the same time.
Oh, so that's actually really good advice. I can actually put it on one of my because those buttons are not used right now, so I could definitely do that. Actually, that'd be super easy to actually implement as well.
Yeah, and the other thing that I would the other mouse buttons, because you probably have 2 of them that are accessible for your thumb right there on the left. The other mouse button, I would advise putting select all idle villagers on that.
Oh.
And it actually helps you get a quicker start at the beginning of the game, because you'll just press the select all idle villagers and then kill the sheep.
Well, that's actually great. I'm gonna do that. Very soon. Actually, I can do it right now as we're talking. That's perfect.
Yeah, I think we gave you a good amount of things to work on. Do you have any questions?
Honestly, I think I just need to do a lot more practice, because I can remember from all the counters and stuff like that as I'm casting, but in the moment I kind of lose track of everything. So I think some of these easier like kind of like hotkeys and stuff like that, to make it so I'm not thinking about certain things, I'll be able to like pull on what I'm actually supposed to be thinking about, which would be nice. Honestly, those things are probably the biggest help. And would you say, besides English, is there another like civ that you'd recommend in terms? I think I kind of like playing that early, like kind of like feudal age aggression. I think I find that the most fun. Is there another civ that you'd recommend maybe I try as well, just to kind of try other things too?
Well, actually, I don't think English is that good for feudal age aggression anymore. So French are, yeah, what Dabston and Askeladd are saying in the chat, French and Ottomans are probably the best feudal age aggression civs. Rus is as well. And with Ottomans, you don't need to get a second town center. Like, you can just play one town center and do a feudal push pretty much every game against every civ. Actually, the first time I ever hit Conqueror, I was pretty much only playing Ottomans and doing a feudal push every single game, even against English. So yeah, it's a very good feudal push. It's a good bit stronger than the English feudal push. The English feudal push on one town center, it stalls out pretty quickly, in my opinion. Later in feudal, like it's not going to keep up with somebody who built two town centers, or depending on the person's civ, like somebody who's massing military. The other thing about the English feudal push, that this is I think one of the big reasons people don't push with English and feudal at the high level anymore. The English army is super immobile. You are all spears, all men-at-arms, all longbows. So the moment that you overextend and make a mistake with your army, you're done for. Like, they're going to be able to wipe your whole army. And it's pretty hard to know how to avoid that. It's pretty advanced. So
yeah, that happens a lot when I do early feudal aggression with English. I find myself, if I just take one step too far, since it's so immobile, I can get countered pretty easily, or something will go wrong and I'm like kind of stuck on the other side of the map or something like that.
Exactly. I think that Ottomans and French are probably the strongest feudal push civs. With English, it's way stronger to just do like a 2 TC or even 3 TC into a white tower, and, drag the game out kind of thing. It's not, the feudal push is just not quite what it used to be.
Awesome. Do you have any videos on Ottoman feudal pushes that I can watch?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a build order from last season that is still very, very good this season. It's pretty much the same. The only thing that changed with Ottomans this season is like minor things, like well, the Sipahi are actually a lot better, but that doesn't really change much with the build order. And yeah, the other things that change with Ottoman don't really affect the build order either. So that build order is still extremely strong and would work very well for you if you wanted to learn how to play Ottomans.
All right, maybe I'll give Ottomans a shot and see if I can get up to, because I got to Plat 1 last season with English, so maybe I'll try to get to Diamond this season with Ottoman/English.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have a good understanding of the game, obviously, from all the casting. I think just practicing and getting down to things like villager production, scouting, it's just basic things that you already know you need to be doing. You just need more time in the game and more practice doing them. So
perfect. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate this, and maybe we'll do another check-in video in like a month or two to see if I've improved significantly or if I haven't improved at all. And you can yell at me then. But thanks everyone for watching. If you made it this far, again, Kelsier's links will be in the description below. Go follow him on Twitch and subscribe to his YouTube channel. We're both getting closer and closer to 1,000 every time. So if you guys enjoy this video, leave a like and we'll keep doing it in the future.